Hey guys, it is a foggy morning here. Look at that. I think though that means it's going to be the perfect day to be working with metal, which is great because today is the day I finally start putting the metal panels on the patio roof. These are 2 foot by 8 foot panels, but they actually only need to be 6.5 feet long. So I'm going to be cutting a bit off of the end of all of them. So I've got a few stacked up here. I think there's 3. And I've got the line drawn across and safety glasses because a piece of metal in the eye would probably derail this project and a few others. I've got a circular saw with a metal cutting blade. Now, let's start putting them up. The screws that I'm using to attach the metal to the roof they're actually got a point on them that penetrates the metal and then goes right in, so you don't have to pre-drill the holes. There's also a little washer, metal washer, and a rubber washer. You see that there? Oh. And that's going to keep it waterproof. You're also going to want some heavy duty gloves because the edges of this metal is pretty sharp. Let's get to work. I hate when you're ready to do a project and you find out you're missing something. I'm missing the attachment that goes for my drill for this type of head. So off to Lowe's. Okay, I'm back from Home Depot actually with the thing that I need here and a carload of things that I wasn't expecting. We did need them. We are going to be doing a project with these poinsettias. So I got 20 something of them. So stay tuned for that project. But now let's actually get going on the roof. Okay, so it's the next day, and I got the entire length of roof, the lower roof next to the house, done all the way back. Unfortunately, that was the easy part. Now I have to figure out how I'm going to do the rest. And if you want kind of a quick peek into how my brain works, I typically just start a project without really thinking it through all the way, knowing that some way I will come up with whatever solution needs to be done to make it happen. So I'm going to flip the camera around and show you kind of what I'm dealing with and what I'm thinking about. So this whole side is done. And like I said, that was the easy part because I had the house, the roof, to sit on, to get started. The thing is, I had planned on basically just crawling out here on this roof to put the upper roof on. But yesterday, as I was, crawling out to screw the far screws in, I was using a yoga mat and I was staying where the 2x4s are, but I still had some crinkling of the metal, which I don't want. So now I have to figure out how I'm going to do this upper section without standing on this roof. And I don't know how to fly. Now the lower roof section on the other side, it's not going to be as easy as this one because I don't have a roof to sit on to get started. But with ladders, you know, I should be able to knock that out. This only took an hour and a half yesterday, this entire section. So that was fast. So my thought for the upper section is just the same way as when I was painting it. Get up on the ladder from underneath, put the first section on, be on the ladder on this side, reach over, screw all the screws in, and then move to the next one, just moving the ladder down. Which I think will totally work. The problem is, along the top where both sides meet, there's got to be a peak. And it's one long continuous piece that you put on, well, maybe one or two, depending on the length of them, across the top that cap both sides. So once I have both the sides of the roof done, how do I get up to the peak to put that on? Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. If I put the first section on way over there at the front, on either side, and at the same time when I'm done fastening that, fasten that end of the peak and let the peak piece run all the way down loose. Then as I'll slide each consecutive piece up underneath that peak and be able to screw it down kind of as I work my way back. I mean, that's really the only feasible way right now that I can even see doing this. So I'm hoping that works. We shall see. Let's get to work. Today I'm going to start with the lower section on this side, and I think basically just use ladders to get up there. It's going to take a lot longer. Fortunately, I have more than one ladder, so hopefully I can set them up in a way that I can just do it as quickly as possible. But I'll set the camera up and you can watch. So I was having a little bit of an issue here. The peak, where it comes down and meets the lower part of the roof. When I poured water directly here on this seam, even though it overlaps it by about 3 to 4 inches, the water was still working its way back through. So I headed to Lowe's to see what I could do, and I found these foam pieces that were made for corrugated metal roofing. And so basically, well, first of all, I actually had to put these 2 strips of wood on the bottom rung, or whatever you want to call it, to raise this out a bit so that I could overlap it. When it was laying flush on here, it didn't overlap it at all. And if I tried to overlap it without putting these to span the gap, the screws would just bend the metal. So under this now I have the foam strips, if you can see them, and I just pushed them underneath there. And that now, when I pour water, it keeps the water from going back underneath there and leaking through the bottom.